Here in part 3, let's talk a little bit more about cultural services, and I'll try to make this regional. We live along the Wasatch Front here, a beautiful mountain range that travels north, that goes north and south. We get cultural services from here, spiritual and religious. Some of us find true happiness and calm being in the mountains. It also serves as a region for recreation, ecotourism, so it has a very strong economic component to it. We use it for education, sense of place, and cultural heritage. This is us. This is what we mean by cultural services. So let's explore that a little further. When I go up into the Wasatch Mountains, it is a tremendous source of pride. It's a source of aesthetics, and it is calming and relaxing, and it's also an economic engine. We derive as a state a significant amount of money from ecotourism. Here's a picture of Secret Lake, up Little Cottonwood Canyon. Then, of course, there's the mountains and skiing. Skiing is a big area for recreation, tourism, and money. And we're able to sustain this because of our climate conditions and because of our approach towards conserving open spaces. You can imagine, in an extreme case of climate change, that winter is a rain-driven environment as opposed to a snow-driven environment. And that service then would be dramatically decreased. One local aspect here is trying to understand wildlife and wildlife at the wildland here in the mountains and urban interfaces. In this area of ecosystem services, we have a very large conservation program here at the University of Utah in biology. Here is Austin Green, a graduate student. He works with Wild Utah and a team of citizen scientists, and they set out cameras to look at wildlife along the wildland-urban interface. We can't begin to manage a resource until we know what that resource is and where they are. So they're trying to understand a little bit more about what's the deer population. And so they had set up cameras to see where deer are coming from, and they record the time when an event happens and, of course, the climate at that time. We also find that we get cougars and other animals in these pictures, bears and so forth. In the Wasatch Front, we have a tremendous wildlife diversity, and that wildlife diversity has been sustained. You might notice that as you drive up and down the canyons, that you'll find overpasses where we try to create thoroughfares where wildlife can cross from one side of the canyon to the next without going through the freeway, for instance. You can see a couple of these as you travel from Salt Lake City up I-80 to Park City. We want to preserve this beautiful environment that we have. So I encourage you to take some time to learn about the Central Wasatch Commission. And the Central Wasatch Commission is a group made up of city officials, county officials, non-government organizations, industry, trying to ask how can we preserve what we have in the Wasatch Mountains. And one idea, which is currently under review, is the Central Wasatch Natural Conservation and Recreational Area Act. The idea of trying to have a single management unit for the Central Wasatch to better manage this resource. If you want to find out some more about that, this is a draft form of the legislation as of October 2020. I encourage you to go to the CWC site and find more about it. When we think of these ecosystem services, it's easy to think in terms of skier days, but look here at the park visit days, the people that come to our state to enjoy our ecological services, ecological environment. So the visitation to the national parks, a mere 10 years ago, was 6 million people a year. Now it's well over 10 million, almost doubling. People want to come and enjoy the aesthetics, the beautiful environment that we have. And sustaining that environment is an important aspect of ecosystem services, and it turns out to be, frank, it's an important aspect of economics because we derive a significant amount of money from ecotourism. In fact, Just last year, over $10 billion was spent by visitors to Utah. That supports over 140,000 jobs. So this is a significant amount of income to the state and tremendous value. So this is one of those ecosystem services. And this service is not available in every state. Utah stands out as unique in this term. Other states might be Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, with these equally spectacular environments that people want to come visit.